Now let's get on to our topic of the day, which is hiring virtual assistants, hiring VAs. Now, I really want to split this up into two parts, okay? Because the first one is when I hear VA, when I hear virtual assistant, it's exactly what it means, an assistant. Like somebody that is your assistant in your business that does operational activities. But what most people have kind of come, most people think of VAs, they think of phone prospectors, right? Lead generators, people that you upload the list, you give them the dialer, and they start making calls for you, and you start getting leads. So because that's where the tilt and the balance, most people are thinking that way. Most people are thinking of virtual assistants as people that are going to be picking up the phone and calling for you and really adding some horsepower to your business. I'm going to start with that and really break that down, and then I'll give you some tips on hiring an actual virtual assistant, because the one that I have, Lisa from the Philippines, has been with me for over 6 years. I've paid her over $100,000 over that time, and she's been absolutely phenomenal. And just I mean, she's the person that's been around the longest with me. And I'll show you a little bit about that as well. But let's look at this graphic, because this is what I think is really the meat and potatoes of hiring a virtual assistant, or what I would like you to call a phone prospector. All right, let's take a look at this, Matt. Now look at this. This is the breakdown, right? This is the nitty gritty. All right, because I have had the fortune of not only talking to tens of thousands of property owners and making millions of calls, but I've coached the best of the best. I've coached people since 2017 on how to effectively make calls, how to effectively hire virtual assistants, phone prospectors to really expand their business. And these are the stats, all right? This isn't just theory. It's a little bit of rounding up to make it look a little bit cleaner, but this is really where you can sink your teeth into. And I think that this gives you a light at the end of the tunnel, especially as you're starting to build momentum in your business and you're picking up the phone and you're consistently making calls, or maybe you feel like, you know what? I love the idea of cold calling. I don't want to do it myself, or I'm at that point now where I've made enough from my efforts that I can start hiring people. Well, take a look at this. This is the calculations that you need to use so that you can build that into your goals. All right? If your goal is to make 400,000, this is going to help you break that down. If your goal is to make 100,000, this is going to break it down. All right? So first of all, look at this. 20 hours. Get the question all the time. Right, Mike? How long does it take to get a deal? 20 hours of you making calls. All right? 20 hours. Now, what if you wanted to hire somebody? What if you're like, you know what, I don't want to do 20 hours of calls. It sounds like a nightmare, or I just don't have that much time. I have too much responsibilities, but I still want to fuel my real estate ambitions, right? I want to hire somebody. Well, when you hire somebody that is experienced and that is managed, they're about a quarter as good as you. They're about 25% as good as you. You're going to see that number jumps up to 80 hours for one closed deal if they are experienced and managed. All right. And in the past, I've made a distinction between foreign callers versus American callers. Here's what I'll say. If they are experienced and you go through, and I'll show you how to interview and how to look at what kind of personality types are the best and the most long-lasting for your business. We'll break that all down here, all right? If they've got good experience and you feel good and you can pay somebody $10 an hour versus $20 an hour, right? $10 an hour is typically what you're going to pay for somebody that is managed, that lives either in South America or the Philippines or in India or whatever else. You can test them out. Test out how they sound. Test out how they actively listen. This is the most important thing. How are they actively listening when you're interviewing them, when you're hearing recordings of their past experiences? Are they saying stuff like, yes, sure, yeah, okay, great. Are they confirming and approving, or are they interrogating? Right? Are they having a conversation, or is it just one-sided with them peppering people with questions? That's what you want to look for with experienced callers. But if you can do it for $10 an hour, do it for $10 an hour. I do it for $20 an hour. That's my best calls. And I'll explain why, and I'll explain all the resources. But right there, 80 hours per deal is typical for when you hire a phone prospector that is managed and that has experience. Okay? Now, what a lot of people do is they go, well, I just want to hire somebody myself. I just want to find somebody independent. I want to pay them $4 to $5 an hour. That's fine, but it's going to take 400 hours per deal. 400 hours per deal for unmanaged phone prospectors. All right, let that sink in. So you think that you're saving money, but they're about 5% as good as you. Okay, if they're totally unmanaged and they've got some experience, but maybe not experience when it comes to sales. See, a lot of people, when you hire them or when they say raise their hand when you do a job posting on any of these virtual assistant sites, when they raise their hand and they have experience, is it customer service experience or is it sales experience? Right? There's a big difference there. You want to make sure that it's sales experience. What I would highly recommend is, first of all, you doing the deals. You doing the calls first, because you're going to get there faster and you're going to keep all the profits. And then when you decide to hire, make sure that they're experienced. You all right, Mike? I'm just going crazy over here. Make sure that they're experienced and managed. You do not want to add more stuff to your plate to manage these people. I am telling you, I would take that third option and completely throw it away. The minimum that you should be spending on your phone prospector for quality leads is $10 an hour. For real. And by the way, it's managed. All you have to do is upload the list, and it's like plug and chug, baby. All right? So that is my suggestion here when it comes. Go ahead, Mike.
So, Brent, 20 hours is if you make the calls yourself.
Yep.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
Matt, could I see that, please? The deal. The 80 hours is if you hire somebody like calling reps or call motivated sellers.
Yep.
Somebody who specializes in cold calling where they're managed,
yep.
right? 400 hours is if you just go rogue and try to find somebody yourself,
mm-hmm.
either virtually or maybe local. And then what is that 1,000 hours? What does that mean? 1,000.
They have 1,000 hours of experience.
Got it.
Yeah. Sorry. So I kind of glazed over that. The 1,000 hours that's the amount of time that they've spent on the phone. And you can verify that based on whoever's managing them. We'll say this is how many hours that they've worked in a sales environment, either real estate or insurance or warranties or whatever else, whatever they've done for lead generation. There's a big difference between lead generation and customer service, for sure. Yep. Let's keep going. Now, here is absolutely critical. We put it in that beautiful, sparkling Caribbean blue there. Look at that. The key is consistent lead generation for 90 days or 12 weeks. All right? 90 days, guys. Listen, if you're going to hire somebody, you have to have a budget for 90 days. I'm telling you, the efforts that you make now, even yourself, are going to pay off in 90 days. Because, listen, when you call them, very rarely are they going to be ready to sign a purchase agreement right now, right? But you do the lead follow-up, you're pre-qualifying them, and and it takes a little bit of time, about a month, 45 days, and then boom, you get that property under contract, but it typically takes 30 days to close it. So let's get realistic with it. 90 days, you talk to somebody today, it's a lead. 90 days is the average that lead turns into income into your bank account. 90 days minimum. So when you're doing this yourself, which I highly suggest you do, because it's going to build skills, it's going to build communication skills that you never even dreamed you could have. I'm telling you this from personal experience. The more that you are talking and building up your experience, talking to strangers about real estate, the better you're going to communicate with everybody. Everybody. It bleeds into every part of your life. I've said that 1,000 times on this channel, but it is the absolute truth. So I highly suggest that as this first 90 days, you make these calls yourself. Now, if you're just like, no, Brent, I'm just not going to do it. I just know it. I'm just not going to do it. I don't feel that the fire in my belly to go out there and hunt myself. I want somebody else to do it. Then make sure that they have 1,000 hours of experience in a sales position, and then test them out. If you can do it for $10 an hour, do it. I do it. I pay $20 an hour because my deals are double the size. And if you do the economics, it makes a whole lot of sense. But let's look at this. 240 hours equals 12 deals for you. It's the math, right? 20 hours per deal makes it very easy. So we're just extrapolating over 12 deals here, because during those 12 weeks, you're putting in 20 hours of calls, 240 hours of calls. You're going to get enough leads. You're going to have about 2,520 contacts. You're going to get about 168 leads from that. And you're going to go on probably around 18 to 20 appointments. Of that, you should be closing 12. Okay? And this is over time. You got to do lead follow-up. You got to be in front of these people. They got to be, you got to constantly be adding new people to your pipeline because you're replacing the ones that are coming in. These are the numbers. I am telling you. All we do is study the numbers of the people that are in our coaching program and the numbers of our own businesses. And these are the numbers. All right. So then look just below 960 hours for 12 deals with your experienced phone prospector. And that's an average deal size of $10,000. That's across the country, because some places are way more, some places are way less. All right, with the price points. And then if you hire just somebody that you want to get for $4 or $5 an hour, 4,800 hours they have to call. I mean, you got to hire like 1,000 of them. I mean, I would just avoid that, right? And then let's get excited about this. 100 deals is $1 million. 100 deals at $10,000 is $1 million. That's 2,000 hours for you if you want to keep it. You're not going to do it. I know you're not going to do it. You're going to start getting these deals and you're going to start hiring people, and that's great, but use these numbers to factor into your KPIs, to your analytics of your business, so that you can have accurate assessment, you have accurate expectations. All right. Is this all making sense, Mike? Is this broken down clearly? Is it where this is your first time seeing this? So is this?
So I just want to clarify. So what you're not saying is if you spend 20 hours on the phone, you're going to get a deal, in 20 hours. You're saying if you spend 20 hours on the phone, you'll get a deal over the next 90 days.
Right.
Right.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep. And then they start popping. Consistency. You're building it up. I'm telling you,
the pipeline.
When you talk to 2,520 people that are on distressed property, then this is why we really push getting distressed property lists, driving for dollars, probates, pre-foreclosures, tired landlords, tired multifamily owners, vacant land, all of these lists. If we're targeting those people and we're using the script, the TTP script, right? You can get it at ttpinsider.com. If you haven't got in there, guys, come on. It's all free stuff. Just get into TTP Insider, get the script. It's absolutely going to give you the scaffolding for that conversation. You're using the script. You're calling distressed property lists. You're talking to 2,520 people. You are going to get those 12 deals.
So what I also took away, Brent, is if you're not going to make the calls yourself, hire a managed a managed VA company with sales experience, right?
Yep.
And they should expect to pay, at least $10 an hour.
That's right.
Right?
Yep.
Gotcha.
Yep. And then Matt, if you'll put up that one more time. And guys, if you have questions, that's what I want. I want you to be asking the questions in the comments section. This is very heavy Q&A on here. So make sure that you're asking and commenting in the side there or down below or wherever it is. Ask the question if this is confusing in any way, but it should be pretty clear. If you like that video, hit that subscribe button. We come out with new videos every single day. And if you want your questions answered, like you and I, one-on-one, make sure that you join us for the live show every single Wednesday. I will see you there.